Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction or read through for Omniscient Reader or Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, chapters 209 onward. And yeah, I guess I'm gonna try to do 3. I think 3 is what I want to go for this time, but if they're really short, I'll maybe do a bit more. It's just, I kind of wish I had a better schedule to do more, but then again, I think, okay, we're only like 30 some chapters behind, so if I do more, we're gonna be caught up, and I've said in the intros before I don't really want that, so maybe that's not the best idea. Maybe it's best just to stick to 2 or 3, make sure I give them plenty of time to discuss them, talk about them, just have fun with them. And yeah, speaking of that, even before coming to record this, right before recording, I just went back and reread the end of last chapter, reread the comments for last week, and I really want to say thank you again because the comments have been so amazing and supportive, and also given me so much more. They've been so great, given me so much more to think about. I really loved last time, and some of the comments were amazing too. So yeah, I'm excited to read. I really am, because what are we gonna even get to after last week? Last week was amazing. Again, I love the bittersweet nature of it. I guess it's mostly not the bitter part, not the sweet part. The only sweet part is for us finally getting this story. The bitter part is the literal everything else. I think Dokja's character leading up to this has been just insanely good in every single way, again and again and again. It's been so complex, and so many different facets of it have been explored, and now we're getting the traditional sad backstory on top of all this amazing stuff that lets us think more about all the stuff we've read in the past, gives us new things to think about, and the way it was handled was amazing. He wanted to hear this kind of thing from his mother, but instead, that was taken away from him. Not only was his mother taken away from him, but the closure that he wanted is not how he wanted it. He's getting what he wanted, but not how he wanted it, adding even more to the depths of suffering that this poor guy has to go through, which is just yet another deep facet of everything that went on, everything with the backstory again, with what actually happened, with what he thought happened, with his mom's reaction to it, his mom's life after things happened, his life after things happened. Like aspects like, you know, him kind of purposefully doing it, but also his father falling into it, which I said last time in the reaction. I was like, is that a sort of way to take at least some of the blame off of Dokja to make him seem a little bit more innocent, even though I think, you know, it was his abuser. He was abusing his mom. For me, my opinion, self-defense, get the guy out of there. It's fine. It's fine. I think it's fine even if he just stabbed him on purpose. But I guess, to me, I was saying maybe the authors did it to kind of soften the blow a little bit, for if there were people who couldn't really relate to somebody killing their father, to be like, oh, well, he kind of also slipped into it. And then I liked too, in the comments, people brought up it might not be that, but it could be his father, his own drinking is what caused this, and he tripped over his own, you know, bottle or can, whichever it was, and also fell into the knife that was held by his son, who was only holding it like that because he was abusive and stuff. So it was karma. It was him, his own decisions coming back on him, which is another way to look at it that's good. And even yet another way that's between both of those to look at it is that the vagueness, I think, is good. Not everything needs to be directly spelled out. We don't need to have early 2010s edgy Dokja, you know, Joker laughing as he stabs him to death. I think the vagueness is good, where Dokja was holding out the knife to defend himself and maybe would have stabbed him either way, but then he fell into it, which has a purposeful element and an accidental element, and having it be not as clear cut as what I said, the over the top edgy Dokja that it could have potentially been, I think adds to it. So I just think everything has been incredibly well written. And it had so much more to think about when it comes to the fourth wall and the world of ORV and the setting that it's in. I know Dr. Bonehead just started to go back to ORV and he's going to be reading through it. And it's like, I wonder if he's going to have the same discussions that I have had time and time again that I'm thinking about now because of all the fourth wall stuff about, you know, what is real? How is it real? the fourth wall separates reality from fiction, and Dokja, we can't really tell if the fiction came into his world or if he came into the fictional world, and purposefully, because of the way things are set up with the focus on stories, the focus on readers, it's kind of set up that way for it to be vague. It's like what is or isn't real, who is or isn't real. It's almost like the fourth wall is there separating Dokja from what's real, and if he makes it through the fourth wall, what does that mean? Is this potentially sort of an isekai where at the end of the story, all the suffering he's been through, he gets his ending, and then he returns to reality and life is back to normal, but he now has this newfound experience from having gone through all of this in the world of TWSA? Like, there's so many different ways to think about the philosophy of this world. But either way, long intro aside, let's actually start reading. Let's read 209. He could have lived if I called the ambulance right away. And I didn't even think we were going to get more backstory stuff. I thought we were just kind of leaving it where we had it. I was the only person who could save him, and I was the only person who made the choice not to. I mean, technically the mom could have. That's why what I told my... Okay, this is her thinking. Okay, I thought this was Dokja still. Okay, this makes a lot more sense for her to be thinking. And then, I was the only person who could save him. I was the only person who made the choice not to. That's why what I told my child wasn't a lie. I was the one who killed him. And again, I love this added depth too. She didn't stab him, but she's saying that she was the one who killed him. Again, I think really trying to take the weight of that off of Dokja, trying even more to protect her child, I think is what I'm reading from it. But also, I, again, like it's not really vague or unclear, but the nature where things aren't straight up spelled out of this character's right, this character's wrong, this character's at fault, that character's at fault, but making it so not only was I talking about the purposeful or accidental interaction, Dokja and his dad, but also the who killed him, the person who stabbed him but didn't have a choice, or the person who could have called an ambulance but didn't. Again, I like the added depth to it. Like, everything has so many different facets from like which you can look at the story. Was this it? Because of this, I actually knew all along. I imagined often that this was what actually happened. And everything I believed was a lousy excuse. There must have been a better way. This was the only reason I had to understand my mother's actions. Why she suddenly published a book of essays. No matter what happened, why I had to become the son of a murderer. I shouldn't have left my child all alone, as a mother. That was something that I never should have done. All in all, and then I'm just a mother who ran away. Man, what a great panel. No, I can't end it all when this is how I finally heard her story. Spit her out, and he's yelling at the fourth wall. Spit her out right now, and slamming his hand against it until it bleeds more. Fuck. I know I usually, because of the censorship, joke around and throw out a censored word like frig or something, but this is a heavy moment. And the pages start to crumple. Dokja Kim was crying. Is the fourth wall... He clenched his bloodied fist. Is the fourth wall his story? The fourth wall is Omniscient Reader? And, with the wall, over and over, Kim Dokja was growing tired of it all. He was sick of all his words and actions becoming a reality. Shut up. And it's telling him what he feels inside, maybe, and you don't want to hear it. Like, you can think it internally and try to push it down, but you don't want to have what's inside of you, like, mirrored back at you this way. Kim Dokja wanted to know, what did he have to do to break down this wall? Could he have ended up this way because he read TWSA? Did reading that novel make the world of fiction a reality for him? That's when he heard a sound of a page being ripped out. He reacts. Kim Dokja began to think. Hey, what's this? Somebody speaking from the other side of the fourth wall. Something you can't eat, part 6. Kim Dokja started thinking. Get a hold of yourself. Who's talking to me right now? Is it one of the things, people, whatever, that was eaten by the fourth wall? Or is it the fourth wall itself? Or is it the author on the outside, somebody in reality? Is it the Dokja in reality, and there are currently 2 Dokjas, one in the story, one in the reality? Don't end up being consumed by your own skill. What? Okay. Being consumed by the fourth wall then, maybe? Take your hand out of there, you idiot. Sorry for the jump cut. I got a piece of dust or something on my monitor. And then the pages start crumpling around and it looks like it's pulling him in. My fist was being absorbed into the page. Oh, so he hadn't even noticed and it was happening. Deactivate your skill, Kim Dokja. Okay. I will deactivate the fourth wall. Is this maybe Yu Jung-hyuk? Or maybe I'm just putting too much into Yu Jung-hyuk. I can't wait to do another character ranking, because I'm trying my best not to think too much about the characters until we get there so that I can talk to you all and, like, think about it live, but there's so many characters that I really want to talk more about. A system error was caused by an unknown source and will be fixed temporarily. Your attribute window is returned. Will you check your attribute window now? I can view my attribute window. The reason I couldn't do that all this time must have been because of the fourth wall. It protects me from others, but it blocks me off from myself at the same time. And he hits yes. Opening your attribute window. Certain skills and skill levels will be restricted from viewing due to system instability. And he's surprised. And it starts to warp away. A few constellations are approaching your mental barrier. Constellations of the Nebula Veda are approaching you. And then Olympus and Papyrus. Darn it. Personal skill, the fourth wall has been reactivated regardless of your will. Okay. So is this too, the wall between fiction and reality is also here being used as a wall that separates him from others, but the same wall that separates him from others separates him from himself. Personal skill, fourth wall has been reactivated regardless of your will, and that starts to warp. Character profile, Kim Dokja, supporting constellation none, modifier the ugliest king, temporary. Personal attribute, 8 lives, heroic, and then scenarios. Personal skill, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, bookmark, character summary, fourth wall, and then he has stuff that's censored out. Overall evaluation, censored you censored. Then, constellation, founder of mankind, is moaning loudly. He's just, Constellation, the one who poked out his eyes, is backing off with his eyes covered. Constellation, Scorpion Goddess, is protecting her tail and backing away. The few constellations who approached you are backing off after being injured. Okay. Then Constellation, Secretive Plotter, smiles at you. And this, okay, again, I got goosebumps once again. So this is a big chapter in and of itself. Founder of Mankind was from Vedas, right? Vedas. We saw them before, I think. One who poked out his eyes is that Oedipus from Olympus, who also we saw when they were offering Dokja to join the constellations or nebulae. And then Scorpion Goddess, I don't remember, but again, we can assume then the last one, they're from Papyrus then. And I don't know enough about Egyptian mythology to guess who it is. All of the Egyptian goddesses I can think of are animals that are not scorpions. So those constellations are being repelled. Meanwhile, Secretive Plotter is secretively plotting, and that's the end of the chapter. I thought there was still more. Okay. Extremely good stuff. That felt like an entire arc in one chapter, an entire, if we're using the words that Webtoons uses, an entire chapter in one episode. That was insanely in depth. I guess, like I mentioned with the last chapter and things like that, things were already extremely in depth. But yeah, very good stuff. I'm excited to continue reading. It ended up not being as long a recording as I thought it was. I feel like I've been reading for 20 some minutes. It feels like so many things happened. And even on top of this, it's been less because there was a long intro. I just feel like so many things happened. How was the recording that short? But either way, I had fun. I still want to try to read 2 more chapters, then edit this all for you. So I'm going to move on. Before I, geez, my voice, what happened? What happened? But before I do move on, I wanted to say, I mentioned going back and rereading the comments before coming to record this. So that is something that I often do. I know that I kind of wanted to say here, just because looking back at my reaction last week and looking at my reactions in general, I can be a bit deadpan. I am not a jump up and down, scream about what's going on kind of person. And nature versus nurture, is that just my personality type? Is it because of life and my personal experiences and things I've been through that's how I react to things? But that's not the type of person I am. But even so, even though I can be critical of my own reactions and stuff, I still try to do the best reaction I possibly can every single time. So for me, if I ever feel like I'm really being rushed or anything, like, I often record where I feel like I need to do this, I need to get through this. But at the same time, if I'm feeling really legitimately rushed, I very often say, I'm not just doing a video today, I'll do it tomorrow or something, because I would rather take my time and properly record something and give it all the respect it deserves than to rush something. The same way if for whatever reason I'm like really not feeling it a certain day, usually I'll be like, once I get into reading, I'll start feeling like it. But for whatever reason, if I'm not feeling it, this really doesn't happen particularly, but I'll be like, you know what? I would rather record it in a good headspace tomorrow and have it be good than to kind of half-ass it today. And the same thing goes with if I start forgetting about anything or even just want a refresher, something that I like to do is go back and reread. So that's something that I kind of often do, but I wanted to bring it up because I'm like, looking at myself introspectively and everything, it's like my reactions are not very large and bombastic. That is very much not my style, not who I am, but I wanted to say I do still try and put in my absolute best every single time. But either way, let's go read 210. Also looking introspectively, I'm not trying to say this and like, it feels weird to say it about yourself. I'm not trying to say it in like a way that it's a good thing rather than a neutral thing. But like, my voice is kind of, I don't know what I would sound like, being super loud and yelly and jumping up and down excited about things. My voice is kind of weird. It's kind of unique, right? And I'm not trying to say that in like an arrogant way. I'm not trying to, like, it's just a thing. I feel like my voice sounds different. I don't get it. Like, there'll be like recordings if I'm hanging out with family in real life and somebody records something on their phone or something, and then they play it back and I'm like, everybody else sounds loud and clear. They sound like they do, talking to me in real life, but I sound like I'm recorded with like it'll be all 3 of us recorded sitting around on the same phone. And it's like they sound loud and clear and I sound like I am like recorded with 1930s audio equipment. I feel like I'm speaking through a wall or something. So yeah, I feel like I have a bit of an odd voice that I don't know what it would be like if the energy or personality brought behind it was different. But either way, let's read 210. Sorry for the distraction, but I distracted myself. We're getting the character profile again. I wish I was creative enough to think of something to fill in those blanks. Constellation, founder of mankind, is moaning loudly. Okay, yeah, we saw this. Secretive plotter. His reaction's different from the other constellations. Could it be that he saw my information in that short amount of time? Even I didn't get to see it all. The fourth wall bares its teeth toward the star stream. The fourth wall is angry with you. I mean, why are you angry? You ate his mom. For a long time now, I thought this wall was the boundary between reality and fiction. Is that its angry face? No. Why are you having it kill his mom and then look kind of cute? Like it has like puffed up cheeks and everything? I could adapt to this new world thanks to this wall, and I was also able to remain logical despite all the terrible things that happened. I can't give an answer if someone were to ask me what this wall is, but what I know for sure is that it's been protecting me for a long time. I'm sorry. And I wonder if it's almost similar to his mom, who has been protecting him through fiction, through lying, essentially. The fourth wall begins to quiver. Kim Dokja is, he looks surprised, an idiot. He laughs. And is swearing at him. Kim Dokja began to realize that the fourth wall had a will of its own. There it goes again. Then, were all the words that showed up earlier written by the fourth wall as well? But it was too well thought out. Then, who could have written that? If this really is a wall, what could be behind this wall? Stop reading my thoughts. Personal skill, fourth wall, turns its head away prudishly. Personal skill, fourth wall, tells you never to turn it off again forcibly. I'll do as you say, but I need you to do a favor for me in return. Oh no, are we gonna start shipping Dokja on the wall? Give me my mother back. Its face. No. Kim Dokja, I can't do it. I already, you know what? Everybody else, I'm gonna go for the most unhinged ship. You know, everybody has the horny ship of Yu Jung-chuk and Dokja. That's the horny ship. Everybody has the basic ship of Sangha and Dokja. That's the basic one. That's the, you know, what you think it would be. Then everyone has the friends to lovers. They're just really good together ship of Dokja and Huiwon. I want to have the unhinged ship. I'm going with Dokja and Bi-young, because they are having a child together. We need to have the family together. So that will be my Dokja ship from now on. I'm locking it in. You know, and also if Dokja's here adopting kids, if he's adopting the other Yusung, then he can have, you know, Mama Bi-young with Yusung and Yusung's younger sister, also Yusung. So we could have that nice little family going on. Then Kim Dokja hated his mother. That's right. Kim Dokja learned what his mother had been through all those times. He now knew what she had to experience, how she lived, and what she'd been hiding from him. Even though he knew, that didn't mean he understood everything. That's true. So Kim Dokja still hates his mother. That's just how human emotion works. Just because you learn that someone has experienced terrible trauma doesn't make all the hurt you felt all those years go away. Yeah, it is very true that even though she was just trying to protect him, I like somebody again in the comments said that they had heard somebody describe it as Dokja has a very mundane tragedy. Like being bullied was something we got earlier in the series. That's something that, or like being stuck in his position in work and in life. It's like, okay, not getting into the college you want, getting traded around from company to company, not being hired on as like a full-time worker. That is something that's really, really hard on people, but also just happens to like very, very relatable. Most people can probably relate to that to some degree. And even if you can't, it's like, also he was bullied. Okay, Very relatable. And again, the biggest part of the tragedy here is the stuff with his parents. His father was abusive. Maybe not many people can relate with killing their abusers, but this is a fantasy. But having an abusive father and a questionably neglectful mother. It's one of those things where, again, this is just how human emotion works. Whereas we now know that she had good reasons for it, we now know that she was protecting him this entire time. At the same time, you know, she could have tried protecting him by running away. Again, it's kind of horrible to say that, given that, you know, life is more complex and complicated than that. So it's not really that simple, as just running away. But again, if you're the child in that position, you can think of all the ways that things could have gone differently. Or after everything went down, maybe she could have helped their relationship go better if she wasn't so kind of like cold and distant towards him about all this stuff all the time. So it's one of those things where she was protecting him, and you can criticize it in hindsight, but through her protecting him, she was also kind of neglecting his emotional well-being in a lot of ways. You're really insightful. I agree. Of course it's insightful because it's just reflecting his own thoughts back at him. Then, that's what Kim Dokja couldn't understand about himself. Why did he want to save his mother? I can't explain it, since not everything can be expressed in words. And I like that it kind of has its own personality, but at the same time, it's not even so much of its own personality, but kind of a mirror shining Dokja back at himself. I don't have much energy left, so please help me. I'm begging you. Kim Dokja. And it starts to fade. We have sparks coming in. And is this a story? Oh, is his mother not going to be brought back, but he's going to have maybe like a final moment to get some closure? Oh no, never mind. It just writes her. She's back. Thank you. It's face still. I'm sleepy. And again, this is something that you kind of get, I would assume, mostly just from the webtoon. You don't really get a lot of this from the novel quite the same. You know, you can imagine it yourself with the novel and everything, which has its own benefits, but this is the benefit of having a really great webtoon adaptation. And then we start to see cracks in the veil of the outer universe that he's in. Constellation's secretive plotter had chased away the great old ones who were spying on you. Okay, Secretive Plotter is getting crazy. So to do all of this, Secretive Plotter has to be really nuttily high ranked. Is Secretive Plotter, is that Dokja? Is TLS 123? Is that Dokja? Like, what is going on? Your rank in Dark Castle. Is TLS the last survivor or the lone survivor 123? Is that him? Then your rank in Dark Castle's been adjusted. You're now ranked 2nd in Dark Castle. Big jump. You've met all the requirements for the main scenario's hidden clear condition. You're now eligible to challenge Dark Castle's final scenario. And now we get our title splash. Then main scenario number 10, 73rd Demon King, main difficulty SS, clear conditions, you're eligible to participate. What? Okay. Choose 4 rankers that you want to take to the 3rd floor of Dark Castle before you enter the final scenario. So then, he has to pick 4. Time limit 30 days, reward 100,000 coins, penalty for failure death. So I wonder if we're going to have a split and we're just going to focus on Dokja and the 4 he takes with him for a while. Current ranking is 2nd. Only people in the top 10 can go with you, which is going to narrow down who he can choose. Chapter 35, 73rd Demon King Part 1. Okay, new chapter. All he ever does is die. He'll come back to life tomorrow, right? Took him 3 days last time. But did you have to put him in a coffin? And we have all of the group just hanging around his corpse. I love that the dragon is staying. I like that a lot. Well, he is dead, isn't he? I wonder what's gotten into Master. I thought he left to find another hidden piece. All the hidden pieces left in Dark Castle are useless now. Still, you didn't have to come here. I need him to get to the next floor. That's strange. You guys seem awfully close as of late. And then the jutting glare. I was just saying, you don't have to glare at me like that. We all know why, don't we? Everyone will think the same. No one in the world will ever stop fearing death, just because they can come back to life. Then everyone's somber for a moment. If it wasn't for Dokja, I'd be dead already, says Yusung. I really didn't want to say this because it's too embarrassing, but if I had 2 lives, I might have given one to him. Why, you only scored 6 points on the affection test, says Gil-young. You brat. We'd all have the same score, if we all wore that dress he likes. And then Jung-hyuk looks over to them all. And we end there. It almost makes me want, this is like a good stopping point, but if I do 3 this week, and then 3 next week, and 3 the week after, that'll be through July, I think, or maybe even through August of last year. I don't know. Either way, though, how long did that take to read? Probably not that long, right? Yeah, only like 13 minutes. So with that in mind, I'm going to read another one. It was very, very good. I won't go for 3, though. It's just, okay, so that means I'm going to be ending on 211, and then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I wanted to stop at 220 at one point. So either I'm going to have to do a couple that are 4 chapters, or I'm going to have to do one that's only 2 chapters. We'll see. I want to end at 220 to do the character ranking, though. 220, then the character ranking, then back to reactions, and also I'm going to want to start doing reviews again. We'll see how things go. So either way, that's the current plan. Let's read 211 and we'll end the video after that. And we're kind of just continuing with a recap for now. Kim Dokja's appearance changed a lot of my plans. The scenarios that could have ended easily became harder. The simple stories became more complex. And the people who were supposed to be dead survived. And maybe for me as well. This round could end up being the best round I've ever been in. This is so extremely rare. I love this. Because this, I always talk about it being very main character loaded. We pretty much never see internal thoughts from anyone but Dokja. We've seen it occasionally here and there, but it is so rare to see that from characters other than Dokja. So that's a very rare one. But also, there was something else I was thinking about, and now I've forgotten it. Oh no! Either way, I guess I'll continue reading. But yeah, very rare to see somebody else's internal perspective like that. By the way, this fate thing, it must be over now, right? Since Dokja died? Come to think of it, you're right. It said he was going to be driven to death by the being he loves the most, so maybe it's been fulfilled already? He died because of his mother, after all. Yeah, why couldn't we think of his mother? And then the 2 people who know a little bit more, Sang-ah and Jung-hyuk, glancing at each other. The fate isn't over yet, he thinks. The nebulas are not such pushovers. They would have known about Dokja's ability to resurrect. So the fate would not end like this. Again, the fate's probably talking about like real death, like permanent death. And the next scenario we will be partaking in won't be that easy to complete. Also, it was that what we learned from his mother was he'll survive if he doesn't get to the next scenario. But now we see he's going to the next scenario. So his survival is now potentially, out of the hands of fate. Then Constellation, triple question marks, looking down on their incarnation. And then Constellation, triple question mark. I've taken part in the scenario for 3 rounds already, but I still don't know who my supporting constellation is. He's the cause of this never-ending cycle. Okay, so his constellation, like, cause of the never-ending cycle, his is the one that's causing him to go back every time he dies. Okay, I want to ask you something. And now we see Dokja in spirit form. It's been 4 days already. I guess death is taking quite a toll on me this time around. I keep slipping in and out of consciousness. Also, what happened with his mom? Still, I've made plans for the future in the past 4 days. If I complete this next scenario, the story will flow as it's supposed to. Is she just back in the physical world with the rest of them? Throughout the 9 scenarios I've been in, I've steered the narrative too far away from the original novel. For me to be able to make use of the knowledge I have of the story, I at least need some parts of the narrative to follow the original novel. Thankfully, everyone's been getting powerful faster than expected, so I think they have enough power to push through the rest of the narrative. Hyun-sung needs to be complimented for him to do better. This isn't easy to control yet, but you're still improving, Kwee-won. And Unnamed Constellations donated 100 coins to Incarnation Lee Hyun-sung. Dokja? Gosh, so he was watching us. But isn't 100 coins too cheap? Yeah, that's really... Wow, he is, like, screwing them over. Instead of being complimented, they're getting pissed off. Let's go take a look at the others. Again, he's watching, and just 100 coins after some of the big super chats we've seen. Sit, lie down, and Kil-young's just barking out orders to the dragon. It doesn't seem to be following orders just yet, but it will be of great help. What should I do? An unnamed constellation smiles at you. And then we have Hyun-sung. Would this be what it feels like to have a daughter? You will have 2 daughters, and they will be sisters and the same person. Since Junghyuk seems to have overcome his post-regression depression, I guess the rest of them won't have a problem surviving if they follow the route chosen by Junghyuk. The real problem is with me. A large fate is hoping for your death. Just fingers crossed. Nebula Veda is waiting your resurrection. Same with Papyrus and Olympus. And a large fate is... Okay, we saw that. What can I do to get them off my tail and protect my friends? I guess. Those damn nebulas. Would that be the only way? All the conditions of your resurrection have been met. The effect of the attribute 8 lives has been activated. Your body's being resurrected from death. Is he going to try to die and then undie to stop the fate? Or he might even be trying to think of separating himself to protect the others, thinking that they can handle themselves because they've gotten stronger, but also they're on the right path if they go with Junghyuk. So maybe he's going to try to separate himself. But I don't really like that for Dokja. For all the other series, Cough Cough Tower of God, that it's like separation from the main character could potentially help a little bit. It's like, I think everybody will be fine with Dokja. I'd like just to see them get more depth and detail focused on them, because we've had so much depth and seen how well it can be written for Dokja. I just want to see more of that for the side characters. And I've said that from the beginning, so, it's not really what the story's about, but still, it's Omniscient Reader, not Omniscient Reader and Friends. 73rd Demon King, Part 2. We have some cracking and creaking. They shut the lid on him? Well, the rumors were true. He really did come back to life. All the randoms freaking out. Dang it, why'd they have to put me in a coffin when I was coming back alive? The effects of the attribute 8 lives is currently activated. The 3rd head of the serpent's been put to sacrifice. The head's special ability is Spirit. And we have fireworks. Congratulations on your resurrection from Kwee-won. Please don't put me in a coffin next time. And next time he's already planning on it. Did you just use the flames of hell as fireworks? Hold on, I'll bring everyone here. Your fame among the incarnations is increased due to your continued resurrection. Your ranks increased by a minuscule amount. Constellation Demon-like Judge of Fire is happy about your resurrection. Constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband congratulates you on your return. Constellation Goryo's Top Swordsman sings praise of your bravery. My leg seems to have healed completely. Constellation Abyssal Black Flame Dragon mumbles as it rummages through its pocket. Many constellations are impressed by your feat. So did it maybe help pay to get his legs back or something? You've been gifted... Oh, that's why, maybe. You've been gifted 90,000 coins, and he gave 100. 90,000 coins. Guess I feel sorry for not being able to help me. The evaluation of your achievement's been completed. You've acquired a semi-mythical story. You have acquired the story The One Who Killed an Outer World God. We have golden boxes. A semi-mythical story. A few otherworld gods have expressed hostility against you due to your newly acquired story. I would have gotten a mythical story if I fought the Great Old One, but I guess I would have perished even before I could open my mouth if I faced something like that. A few otherworld gods have become curious about you due to your newly acquired story. A few of the Great Old Ones have learned of your existence due to your new story. Your modifier will soon be announced. You've acquired a new story during your evaluation period. You'll be reevaluated for acquiring a story that exceeds the stories you already have. I thought I'd be lucky to start off as the lowest ranking historical constellation, but I might actually end up a high ranking historical constellation. Your rank will be announced during the next scenario. Your 5th story is still in progress. The next scenario. The timing seems great. The long-awaited 10th main scenario, 73rd Demon King. This actually was a good chapter to continue on to, because it feels like we're kind of wrapping things up. It feels like a little bit of an epilogue, but also a little bit of a transition. We're wrapping up things that we just saw, and we're transitioning and introducing things for the next. Like, if we get an explanation here, we're getting our introduction to what's coming next. As the last scenario that's held within the Soul Dome, the number of participants is highly limited. Only the 1st and 2nd highest ranked incarnations of Dark Castle are allowed to participate. But they won't go in alone. They can each... Okay, so for numbers 3 through 8, they have to do like the schoolyard draft, basically. They can each choose 4 other rankers of Dark Castle to take with them to the challenge scenario. You're now ranked 2nd in Dark Castle. Junghyuk. Are you ranked 1st now? Of course I am. This is different from the Soul rankings. He must have been upset that he wasn't ranked 1st then. How petty. I need your help. As you already know, there's a limit to how many people we can take with us to the next scenario. If we don't plan the teams together... Kim Dokcha? What's your goal? My goal? What goal? Is your final goal to reach the end of all scenarios? Well, you could say that. Can you promise me that you won't give up on that goal of yours, no matter what? What's gotten into him all of a sudden? Of course I won't, but why do you ask? Never mind. Tsundere. And it ends there. Cute. Okay. Well, I'm going to end here. I'm assuming it is because he wants to believe in Dokcha, and he wants to know if he needs to still try to kind of be adversarial, or if they can kind of work together a bit more, even more. He did already call him a companion, but I think that's kind of what it's about. I think it's testing his resolve and what he actually wants in order to see how well it aligns with him and how he wants to go about working together. But yeah, you know, Red Eye Studio and everybody else absolutely killing it. Did a wonderful job with the adaptation. This has been insanely good, and I'm going to end the video here. So thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video. I don't know, should I talk more about it? I talked about it as I was going through. I think it's amazing. I loved this last chapter. I think it was a good one to end on because we started a bit of this transition, and now we can start moving into what's next week. This was a good, like, we got the big meat, the big main course of this crazy stuff happening last read through, and before that, the read through before that, we got the action. So we got the action, then we got the big emotional stuff. Now we got the big emotional stuff continuing, but really the big emotional stuff was done. This was really just further developing it out, giving us some incredible writing, and wrapping up what we had just seen as we start the transition, and we'll continue the transition and start building to what's next time. I think this has all been handled extremely well, and I've enjoyed it a ton. So thank you so much for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of these chapters, my thoughts and reactions. Subscribe for more ORV, tons more on the channel. I've already talked about my plans with ORV. I'm going to try to do another webtoon later this week. If I get time, I'll start Practical Guide to Evil. So if you want to see me start a new webtoon, I'll be trying that out. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. I also am going to be doing a ton more anime and manga stuff. That's something that I really want to do. I've mentioned before. And if you want to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks, that's appreciated. But if you want to help support the channel and also get your name at the end of videos, I need to check and see if I need to update this, but get your name at the end of videos and also get One Piece videos a little bit early, then you can support the channel and get those things, and also, you know, help me to continue to make content by hitting join down below to become a member, going to patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you to people who are already patrons and channel members: Chosen Regulars Evan Holly and Bertie Wooster, Magical Girls FR Nono JA and the D-Ban, Sheridan Students, David Langstaff and Folded Gold, Slayer Candidates SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Elements, Pate Ariel and Elsa the Storyteller. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching. Also, I need to start saying this too. I know people don't like the whole like, comment, subscribe thing sometimes. I don't really think people care about me because I put it at the end. Sometimes it can be a bit much when people put it at the beginning, because it's like, okay, I haven't even watched the video yet. But, you know, doing the reminders and stuff has been, you know, statistically proven to help. So I always do it at the end because it's like, I don't want to do that at the beginning of the video. It's not what you're here to see. But also share things around. Sharing things is probably the biggest way that channels can help grow, especially if it's not, you know, not to sound rude, if it's not algorithm slop. You know, I'm not a big fan when I go on my YouTube feed or any social media feed and all I'm seeing is algorithm slop. You know the types of videos I'm talking about, the types of posts I'm talking about, the types of things that get fed to you that are like, you're like, this isn't really what I like, or even if it's in a genre of what I like, it's not genuine. Again, it seems rude to call things algorithm slop, but there is a certain genre of things that I would consider algorithm slop, and because I don't make that type of content, you know, it's not really getting recommended that type of way. But yeah, either way, weird ending here. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.